Hi, I'm Paul. So if there's any of you out there who are wanting to find self-awareness or your true nature or even non-duality, but I don't really like using the word non-duality because it kind of implies that people focus on the word non-duality or the meaning of non-duality, but it's not suggesting to go to the place of non-duality. So I'm not really a big fan of using that, or spirituality, or even meditation, because it doesn't describe the actual practice, more focuses or makes people focus on the words non-duality or meditation. But for those of you who are trying to find self-awareness, or let's say non-duality, or trying to find that place in you of just self-awareness or only awareness, then I I think that this word has not really been used enough when it comes to finding self-awareness, and that word is focus. And I think it is very important. I think that the easiest way to find awareness or your true nature is through focus. And when I say focus, it's just simply focusing on awareness without the ego distracting you. So one of the problems that we have is we tend to focus more on descriptions or words. If I was to talk about going on holiday to India, I can read up about India on the internet as much as I want. I could look at pictures and videos of India, but I'd never know what it's like to actually experience India. In the same way as if I was to mention the word apple. You can focus on the apple, but unless you eat the apple, you won't know the experience of the apple. One of the things I came up with, I think it's probably a couple of years ago now, was that if I was to hold a plant, and if you was to just stare at the plant without saying anything in your mind, without trying to describe it, then that would be the closest that you can be to the awareness of the plant without focusing on any descriptions or labels. But that means that you've got to stare at the plant and be still. When I say still, I mean a still mind. But the moment that you try to describe the plant, label the plant, then it's as if the plant disappears. Because then your focus becomes on the description or the label of the plant. To describe this a little bit more, if I was to get 100 people to look at this plant, if I take the plant away and ask them to describe the plant in as much detail as they can, say give them colour cards of different greens to try and pick it out, we'd end up with 100 different plants. And that wouldn't be reality, because that's 100 people focusing on their description and not the true plant. I think this is also why we can't focus on people's empathy. I don't think that we could actually have true empathy for another person, because the moment somebody says something's wrong with them, we focus on what we think that they're experiencing. If I was to say, I'm depressed, and you would focus on the description of the depression rather than focusing on what I am experiencing. And the reason why I'm talking about how we seem to focus on labels and names and our own interpretations of things instead of the true what is. Because trying to find non-duality or our true essence, our true nature, really is just as simple as to focus on it. Which means that we don't focus on the labels or descriptions of what we think self-awareness can be. We just focus on the stillness of self-awareness. I mean, this is what meditation teaches you. You try to silence the mind so that you can see the awareness to be able to focus on it. And the more that you focus on just self-awareness, the more easier it becomes and the more that the mind starts to fall away. The difficulty that we've got is when we try to focus on self-awareness, our ego tries to trick us. It comes up with things like, I'm bored, I'm fed up, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that. And when you find this, try to bring yourself back to just awareness. But what I'm trying to say is the easiest way to find your way to non-duality or just self-awareness is all down to focus. It's just focusing on the essence of awareness, not on any of the descriptions. Anyway, thanks very much for listening.